What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Welcome to another YouTube video / podcast of the Dynasty Dweebs. Today I'm joined with Jim Brooks.
What's up, sir? How's it going?
Pretty good. Today we're going to analyze the Cleveland Browns offense, and we're going to discuss we'll discuss their redraft value and their dynasty value. Why not? We got time. Let's do it. All right, where do you want to start? Do you just want to start with Baker, Jim?
Yeah, we'll start with the quarterbacks.
All right. So Baker last year, 370 completions, 534 attempts. His completion percentage was 59.4%. Threw for 3,827 yards. Longest pass was 89 yards, 22 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. Not the best year for Baker.
No, Baker did not have a great second year in the league. I think
he was sacked 40 times.
Oh yeah, it was a brutal year for the Browns.
Took an ass beating, huh?
I think a lot of it really had to deal with they never have their coaching situation sorted.
Can we not blame on Freddie Kitchens?
I think it's fair to blame it. I don't
think it is.
I think when what's his face? God, I'm forgetting his name. The defensive coordinator that stepped up last year as the interim head coach. He coached for the Saints too. I forget his name. Greg Williams.
Yeah, the guy with the gray hair.
Yeah, who loves targeting players.
Yeah.
When Greg Williams was in charge, Cleveland in 2018 was flying on all cylinders, and they looked like a really good team. But this past year in 2019, Baker it basically looks like he regressed. I mean, he had less touchdowns, more interceptions.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they won the same amount of games as they did last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Baker at quarterback won the same amount of games.
His only good status, he played 16 games.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. I mean, yeah, he's staying healthy, which is great. His completion percentage dipped 4%. The yards only less than 100. So, I mean, that's
interceptions is kind of
yeah. The interceptions is terrible considering the weapons he has, but maybe that's him trying to overutilize the weapons and really try and make things happen. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I really think they're going to try to make this a running team, more rushing team. Do you see how they got Hooper? They're going to have the 2 tight end sets.
Sure, they could go 12 personnel.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, we'll see.
I don't see it being like a run-first team. I mean, they have the ability to do that, but with all the other skill players at wide receiver, I don't think they can afford to do that and keep those players happy.
Well, and considering like their schedule, like playing the Ravens and the Steelers twice, they're not going to be able to be a rush first team. Especially consider the Ravens already are a rush first team. They can't both be. It's not going to work in a game.
I think I 100% believe that Baker's going to have a bounce back year, and not even just. I think this is going to be his best year in the NFL.
I think this is his last year in the NFL on the Browns, dude. Wow. I don't even know if he's going to stay on the Browns.
I think they're going to pull it together. I really do. I
hope they do. I mean, I kind of like Baker, but it's just like I'm not worried about Case Keenum at all. I think it's Baker's job for the whole year.
100%. I mean, the only way I see Case Keenum coming into play is if Baker is still shitting the bed, and then
it has to be pretty bad.
I mean, it can happen. And Case Keenum's not a bad backup quarterback.
Game manager.
Hey, he does what he does. Does it well.
Odell also had 2 passing attempts.
Hey, big quarterback.
He threw for 20 yards.
Hell yeah.
Great job, Odell. So is Baker in your top 10 this year for Q? Well, let's talk Dynasty. Are you chilling Baker Dynasty? Or
I think
because I don't mind him as a fantasy football quarterback that much. Like,
I think
depending what your league does for interceptions, but
I truly think Baker is going to be a guy you can still hold on to in Dynasty and really flourish. I don't
Right.
think, I mean, unless this ends up being his worst season and then his career just spirals downhill from here. But
I have him
I,
top 15. I think that's safe.
yeah, he's probably somewhere in the bottom half of the 15. But
Would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Daniel Jones?
I like the weapons Baker has at his disposal more. So I would take Baker.
Fair enough. Will Baker Mayfield throw for more than 22 touchdowns or less this year?
More.
Okay.
I mean, he threw for 27 as a rookie.
Completion percentage is pretty.
I think he'll stay around that 60%. I mean, it's
Can we see 65?
possibly.
What was his 2018?
2018 it was 63.8.
And he had a lot less interceptions and more touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
All right. I think Baker, he's around the 15-ish spot at QB right now. I think he has a lot of potential, but it all depends on the team around him.
I think for
I
redraft,
would not mind seeing Baker Mayfield on a different team in his career, though.
we'll see what he does here. I really believe in Stefanski at head coach for them. I think it's going to work out. But I think in redraft, if you're putting a quarterback on your bench, he's probably one of the best guys to have on the bench.
I mean, yeah, I also wouldn't mind, like, if you like to draft, like, quarterbacks late, I like him as
He'll
a
be
late
there.
quarterback.
He'll be available.
Yeah,
100%.
I like him a lot as your late guy. Like, he'll be there with, like, Big Ben, guys like that.
Mm-hmm. But I still have a lot of hope for Baker. I think he's more
You could
into
trade
football.
for him pretty
Yeah,
easily.
for really cheap, I'm sure. But I think he's like, if you're comparing him to someone like Johnny Manziel, who attitude wise is pretty similar, but I think Baker has a way better work ethic and a grind to actually get better.
I agree.
So I believe in Baker.
I think he does get pretty. And what's nice is he does get pissed off when they play like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, he's invested.
All right, let's go on to the rushing aspect of this team.
Yep.
So this is why everyone has a problem with choosing like Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon, right? Like because Kareem Hunt's there, and then with Joe Mixon, it's just the line, and you just can't decide like what's worse, having a shitty line or having Kareem Hunt as the number 2 pack on your football team.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Chubb, 298 attempts, 100,494 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. Longest rush, I believe, was against the Ravens, 88 yards. That was a huge run. I remember that. I think I went to that game. 8 touchdowns, 2 fumbles.
He also had a 92-yard touchdown his rookie year. I remember watching that live. Well, not live. Well, yeah, live. I watched it because Chubb was on my fantasy team, and I was very excited.
But Chubb played all 16 games, which is great to see. He's RB1. There's not really much to say. Like I'm not gonna fade him at all. I think Kareem Hunt gets pretty much the same work. But the only thing is, remember, is Kareem Hunt played 8 games last year. So if we're to a double,
you'd have to really.
If we're gonna double Kareem Hunt's attempts, he's nearing the 100 attempt range.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be at 86 if we were gonna go exactly on pace.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Nick Chubb is. There's no way they don't utilize him as.
But there's no way they
what
don't
they did last year.
utilize Kareem Hunt also. Like they kept him on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw a report that like Kareem Hunt wants to sign long term in Cleveland, but who knows with that. If you just want to go strictly off of rushing attempts and what they did with Kareem Hunt in the 8 games that he played.
I'm more interested in when we talk about the receiving. There's a lot more problems I see there than in the rushing.
Well, I'm just going to go based off rushing right now for the Kareem Hunt and the Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb last year averaged 18.6 rushes a game. Kareem Hunt had 5.4. Okay. So if that's basically 24 if you round up rushes a game, and Nick Chubb's getting 75%, give or take, that's still he's going to if he's averaging that 5 yards per carry, he's going to be a solid running back no matter what.
I mean, Nick Chubb's a top 10 running back. Kareem Hunt's just one of the best flex pieces to have. I feel like.
Oh
on
yeah,
your
because
team. He's so
especially
valuable.
in PPR, because he has such a safe floor.
I mean, dude, if Nick Chubb gets hurt, I mean, I hope he doesn't, but I mean, Jesus, dude, I can't
Then
imagine
Kareem Hunt becomes
the
instant
kind of
RB1.
animal that just comes out of
Because I mean,
Kareem
you
Hunt.
saw what he did in Kansas City. I mean,
dude, he's insane. I mean, he had two touchdowns, one fumble. I would like to see Nick Chubb get in the double-digit categories for touchdowns. I think that would really help his value.
I mean, he had 8 both years. I mean, that's not.
It's not bad. It's fine.
I think every other game you're getting a touchdown is great still.
Right.
But obviously, it's just more and more to kind of.
Yeah, so Kareem Hunt, he had 170 yards, all 43 attempts, 4.2 yards per carry. And then we'll mention Baker. Baker's rushing attempts. He had 28 attempts, 141 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry, and he had 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, that's not bad. I love to see. I mean, that's what you want. You want those quarterbacks that are going to rush the ball. Anything else to talk about the rushing before we move on to the receiving?
Yeah, I guess you can kind of touch on how. I guess I love Nick Chubb, but drafting him in the first round, and that's where he rightfully
that's a
belongs.
Good point. Yeah,
I think he belongs there, but having Kareem Hunt there, still I take it, but I'm really reluctant to really actually click draft on Nick Chubb.
So yeah, and if I'm on redraft, even let's say redraft or dynasty startup, I would want both.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I don't know what you have to pay for Kareem Hunt right now. I don't know what his ADP is. I'm gonna guess around the 8th round, probably.
You'd say that seems pretty late.
Pretty late, maybe between 6 and 8. There's no way he goes in the 5th, right? I mean, I wouldn't pay him for the 5th.
No, but it's just if you don't have the stack, I guess it's really shitty. And then if you're trying to get it from someone, if you're trying to get Kareem Hunt from someone definitely knows they have the leverage and they can get a lot more out of you.
See, I guess that's why I just I would rather have Mixon.
I think Jacobs at that point still, though. I think I would take Josh Jacobs over Mixon.
I would, yeah. Jacobs should be going before Mixon and Chubb, I think, right now.
It's so hard to say because
they're all in the same tier. They're really all
I still think Chubb's the best.
I know, dude. If Kareem Hunt was on the team, Chubb beats these guys by a landslide.
Oh yeah, and then he's in the conversation for being one of the top.
He's
3
next
guys,
to Dalvin Cook. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Nick Chubb's a top 10 RB. I think Kareem Hunt's he's a 20 to 25 guy. I think we could see the 1-2 punch really emerge this year. It really depends how Kareem Hunt plays. I mean, if the guy's just shredding off 5 yards per carry, you can't bench him.
No, you can't.
All right, so this is the way more fun part of this team. Let's talk about the receiving work.
Okay.
All right, Jarvis played all 16 games, 83 receptions, 138 yards. I mean, 83 receptions off 138 targets, 1,174 yards, averaging 14.1 yards per carry. He had 6 touchdowns.
14.1 per.
Oh, yeah, for attempt.
Yeah.
For reception. And then he had 6 touchdowns. Longest was a 65-yarder.
Yep.
Man, dude.
This was Jarvis's best
PPR.
year in terms of his yards per catch. Since he's been in Cleveland, he's been at 81 and 83 receptions. So I don't think we'll see him at that 2017 Miami where he had 112 receptions. I don't think he's going to be an over 100 guy anymore as long as he's in this Cleveland system, how it is right now.
He reminds me a lot of Jamison Crowder, but he's just more elite to me. just
Mhm.
because not because their numbers are so different, but it's just because he's more talented.
Mhm.
I know he can. His ceiling's a lot higher than Jamison Crowder's, and
Yeah.
it seems like Baker has a way better rapper with a rapport
Rapport.
with
Yeah.
rapport. I don't know why I said rapper. Rapport with Baker Mayfield.
Mhm.
So, and that could just because it's Odell's first year. You got to figure out how the guy plays. I mean, he is different. There's certain ways you can target that guy on the field that he's going to make plays.
Mhm. Wow. I can't believe I didn't realize how insane of a year Jarvis was having all last year. Like he was the number 12 receiver in PPR.
No,
So if you're
he's
playing, he's
fantastic.
technically a wide receiver one at that point, which
Yeah,
and everyone kind of always has assumed that Odell is the number one guy there.
it's just
So
the name, man.
it is, but I feel like that's basically saying you have two wide receiver ones on that team, but Odell ended up finishing at 25. So a back end
And
wide receiver two, if not wide receiver three.
yeah, it's just it seems like the volume's super inefficient. And then when you add Austin Hooper to the team, I don't even know what happens with the touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's real.
And
That's really shake. That becomes a really shaky case scenario. I don't know what happens. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Njoku
And Odell
played
only had 4
4 games, and
touchdowns.
yeah, Njoku played 4 games, had 1 touchdown,
Uh-huh.
and then they had Ricky Seals. Ricky Seals Jones had
I
four
think he's off the team
touchdowns.
now, right? He's
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
he's
pretty sure he's on the team. There's
yeah.
no way they kept all of those guys.
No, yeah. I think it's just Hooper and Joku and then the rookie Harrison Bryant they drafted.
So it's like, what do you see happening there? I mean, what happened? What's your aspect of
Okay.
change with Hooper on the team and the Njoku?
I think I don't want to say they're done with Njoku because he's still 23 years old. And it's just like but
They had
I
to have
just feel
been
like
worried about his recovery process. That's what it had to be.
because I feel like drafting this kid from FAU, but I also did read that he played 4 positions in college throughout his career. So
Yeah.
maybe they intend to use him in a different position somewhere. Maybe he's just a special team. I don't know. Um how many realistic touchdown how many touchdowns do you think Baker realistically will throw this year?
I'll give
Like,
him
will you say
25. I'll throw him 3 more.
you don't think he can get like 32 and have 2 a game in this offense?
Shit, dude. I don't know. I think he could. I don't think he's gonna beat his first year of 27. Wait, is that included with his rushing? No, that's just
No,
so he
I
had
think it's just
25 with the rushing.
uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I'll give him 30. But, I mean, they're not all these aren't all passing ones. You're saying though, are you? I
Let's
won't
just
give him.
go
I
let's
won't
just
give
go
him
okay.
30 passing touchdowns. I'll give him
Okay.
30 total.
All right.
So that
So
could be 28 and 2 rushing, 27, 3.
okay, so let's just go with the benchmark of 28
Sure.
passing touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. All right. How would you expect that to divide out? Like where does it
All
go?
right. So let's give. Shit, dude. See, I really think Odell is going to have a way better season this year. I'm going to give Odell
Mm-hmm.
8.
Okay.
I'll keep Jarvis. I'll give Jarvis 5. So it's 13.
So he went down from 6 last year to 5.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just yeah.
13. I'll give Hooper 5. That gets us to what? 18.
Yep. So there's 10 more touchdowns. I'm sure Kareem
I'll
Hunt will
give
get
I'll
something.
give Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb of any?
Um,
He did
good question.
not. He had none.
Yep, he had
I'll
no
give Nick
receiving
Chubb
touchdowns.
1
Okay.
and Kareem Hunt 2. So there's 9 left, right?
We were at 13, so there should be 10 left.
I thought we
Right?
just had 10 left.
Did we? What?
Yeah.
Oh, you said there was 13, and then you gave out 2 and 1.
Hold on. I said Odell of 8, Jarvis of
Jarvis
5,
5, so that's 13. And
and
then you
then
said Hooper had 5, so the 8. So then there would be 5 touchdowns left after the 2 and 1 for Kareem
And then it just
Nick
comes
Chubb.
down to like Njoku and the rest of the guys picking him up.
Okay.
Like Callaway, all those guys. You don't know. Like,
Is Callaway still on the team? I don't think he is.
I hope so.
No, I don't believe he is. They have Odell, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Taywan Taylor,
yeah,
Jarvis,
shit.
and a bunch of other guys. Damian
Well,
Ratley was on the team.
Damn, he wasn't even that bad. He might have done something. I don't remember. But yeah, I think then we just get the last 5. Though it could be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like I did that poll on Twitter. And it was like, who's gonna have a better season, Hooper or Hayden Hurst? And Hayden Hurst won by like 40%.
I really don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to. It's just having so many names like this is really throwing me off with how I expect these players
This team annoys me so much because of what they look like on paper. It's so annoying.
Oh, Antonio Callaway was he joined. By the way, he just joined an XFL team 5 months ago. What is it? Something about he got released in November last year.
Well, I really didn't do my research on him.
Yeah, substance abuse policy.
Yeah, I thought he did something wrong.
Yeah, won't be eligible to compete in NFL until the second half of 2020. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into some rankings with these guys. Let's see what we're thinking.
Okay.
Jarvis Landry. Do you have him worse or better than last year? I have to say worse. I mean, he's going to regress,
just feel like,
especially with introducing Hooper back on the team. I think he's still a top 15 guy.
Well, that's not much regression.
But if he's a top 15 guy, is Odell even in it then?
See, it's not like Odell had a technically really bad year. Like he still had that 1,000-yard threshold. That
it's bad for Odell though.
It is his worst. I
gotta see it. Odell's years before this, like.
Well, okay, so yards per catch is actually like still good. It was 14. I think his problem was his catch percentage actually was the lowest. He was not getting. He had 133 targets, but only caught 74.
Dude, in 2014, he only played 12 games, 91 receptions, 132 targets.
130 on what I see, but yeah. And he had the 12 his first 3 years, 12 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns.
The thing is, though, this guy's so weird. Like, by 27, as a receiver, you're officially entering your prime. But he's been kind of regressing. Like,
I mean, it looks like he had the injury concern in 2017. 2018 played 12 games.
2018 was the beefier of the Giants.
Yeah.
Also. The touchdowns we need the touchdowns to go back up this double-digit number. That's what makes this guy an animal, his touchdowns. 12, 13, and 10 in 20.
But he also had like 300 extra yards.
Right.
300 and 400 extra yards.
Like, but Jim, if he can just get up to this double-digit touchdowts.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
He's right next to Jarvis. He's
probably better than Jarvis at that point.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He's like, he's right there at that around.
I think Jarvis and Odell could finish like basically right next to each other realistically if the touchdowns fall in whoever's favor. If they fall in Odell's,
they're definitely a 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I think if Jarvis ends up getting more touchdowns, he ends up being a way better player because he normally just gets more receptions.
A lot like Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs kind of thing.
But however, if you think about it, though, Jarvis only had 9 more receptions last year. That's really nothing in the whole span of everything. Like,
yeah. I mean, it all depends, like, how long the reception is and all that shit, but whatever.
That's true also, but...
I mean, if 9 of those receptions are, like,
25
yards each...
Yeah, Jarvis averaged 14.1 per catch, and Odell had 14. So
are we gonna see the kind of like Antonio Brown Juju kind of thing? Like they just hold down Odell and Jarvis Landry's gonna thrive?
It's very well possible it could go either way in each game. But then, like you also look and you think,
who would you rather
have Hooper?
Who would you? I haven't looked at their ADPs. I'm sure Odell's what, second to third round still.
I don't know. He might fall because some people are just kind of disappointed with him. I mean, they're the same age. Who's old? Jarvis is 27, 207 days, 27, 2. So Jarvis is actually younger by
They're really both entering their primes.
Yeah, I'd take Jarvis because he's better in PPR. I feel like still.
Damn,
I think he's a more
still on
consistent.
Odell?
He's more consistent. I'd take Jarvis. But it all kind of depends on where Jarvis falls in the draft. Kind of.
Dude,
I'm not.
what the hell? What is this
But then
season ADP for sleeper?
I have no idea.
Will 4 is before Odell? There's no way.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Would you rather have Odell in redraft? Would you rather have Odell Beckham or Stephon Diggs?
It's a great question, actually. Probably Diggs.
Okay. Would you rather take Odell in the third or Jarvis in the fourth?
Jarvis in the fourth.
See, like, if Odell Beckham's my wide receiver too, that looks so nice. But
Oh yeah, it does.
if he was your wide receiver too last year, he was terrible.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, he is a bad receiver.
Well, here's the thing. I play in standard leagues, like redraft.
Yeah.
So that's why I remember him being like so trash.
But then again, like for receivers, PPR just technically boosts all of them anyway. So it's kind of like
true. Well, kind of.
So they all
it depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends just generally how many receptions you get. But actually not really, because like if you're comparing guys that both just have 70 catches, then it literally just boosts them all up the same amount of points. You know,
dude, these guys are so difficult to I just don't know, like, if we're gonna see the Odell that we used to see on the Giants.
I think
and it's not
this
like
year
Eli
be very
Manning
telling.
was like that much better than. I mean, I think Eli Manning was a really good pretty good quarterback, but is he like amazing compared to Baker Mayfield?
Think in the last couple of years, well, Odell's first 3 years when he was fantastic was like
they went to the playoffs in those years.
Exactly. So that was like perfect. Like Eli's not completely done yet, and he was still useful. And then you saw Eli just slowly get a lot worse.
All right, let's look at Hooper's stats on the Falcons. So he missed 3 games. He got injured towards the end of the season, I'm pretty sure, last year. 75 receptions.
He missed 4 games. He missed week 9 and then 11 through 13.
Okay. 75 receptions, 787 yards. He's averaging 10 yards.
And 6 touchdowns.
And he had 6 touchdowns. He's going to eat up some volume on this team, man.
And considering how much money they gave him.
They have to utilize him.
Yeah. I mean, he was number 6 in PPR last year despite missing 4 games. So
he number 7 literally just stands in the end zone. He's just open.
This is so.
I'm fading Njoku so hard, dude. I wouldn't even worry about if you have Njoku in Dynasty. I don't even know what you're doing with him, bro.
So you just have to hold on to him and see.
Probably cutting him.
Probably cutting him. Teams. I don't know. I can't.
Dude, you know who would just destroy this team if they got Josh Gordon back?
I think he would stay in Seattle, but
that wouldn't destroy the team as like a team that would like they would play well in the NFL. Just like fantasy, dude, it would just be like,
oh yeah,
a 3-headed monster.
I can't imagine Hooper getting 75 receptions again.
No, I don't
these
see
two
that.
receivers.
Well, I don't know. They had Julio and Calvin Ridley.
If you had both those receivers,
the Falcons are different though because they don't run the ball that much.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman. Yeah.
They weren't running the ball that much with Ito Smith. Yeah, dude, I don't know then because I really do think this team might be way more rushing attempts this year.
How I gotta check Njoku when he did play and all that good stuff, I guess. It's hard to say.
I'm fading Njoku. We're fading.
Okay, I can't really even say anything with 4 games of work. Yeah, 4. All right, I can't even say anything about Njoku. He played in 4 games, started 1.
I mean, last year
he had 5 receptions last year.
In 2018, he was like a streamer. It looks like 56 receptions, 88 targets, 639 yards. You could play him in certain games. He did good for you.
Yeah, that was a better year because they didn't have Odell there, and Baker had another. Like basically, that was Baker's number 2 guy, aside from there's Jarvis and then Njoku. So, yeah, I think at this point, Njoku's kind of out of the picture for dynasty
6'4",
or at least fantasy redraft.
He might get out there and hit some blocks.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to utilize him that way. Hooper's basically the same build, 6'4", 254.
Super still a top 10 tight end for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Where do you see this? How do you see this team doing this year? Is there a chance they make playoffs?
Yeah, 100%. They could be a wild card team.
But they can't win the division. You won't even give them a chance.
No. I mean, actually, it could happen. It's not impossible that the Ravens drop off a couple of games and then like the Browns end up becoming a lot better.
The Browns play very well against the Ravens. They really do.
They did beat them last year. They were one of the 2 teams that beat them. So, I mean,
they did their homework that game.
I could imagine they could go as high as like 11-5.
Dude. I love that Big Ben's back. It's going to be a really awesome division to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Joe Burrow. I hope he wins some games again in this division.
He is.
I can't wait to watch him play against the Browns.
I see so many projections of Joe Burrow that still scare me. Like people,
I wouldn't even look at those, dude. Who cares what they say?
It's just interesting that people have like. I know he's the number 1 guy and all that, and what he did in college, but people are projecting him like well over 4,000 yards, and that's a lot as a rookie. And then people are expecting him to break the rookie touchdown record just like Baker did. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Do you think that this team will have more than 393 rushing attempts this year?
393, is that what they had last year?
Mm-hmm.
And Chubb had 298. No. Fuck. Is he averaging 18? So basically averaging like 26 a game or something like that.
What'd you say?
I don't think they're going to break over 400, so no.
Let's see where they rank.
I mean, they could if they just give Chubb some more attention.
Ravens are number 1 with 596.
Yep. Who's last? What's the low?
Browns were ranked number 12 with 393.
Jesus.
See, now here's what I'm saying with the Falcons. They only had 362 attempts.
Uh-huh.
They were the bottom 3 with the Jets and the Dolphins at 349. See, that's going to change Hooper a lot.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Wait, these aren't even ranked. This is alphabetical order. Hold on. Wait, no, it's not. Hold on, dude. Cleveland, that's completely wrong. Cleveland was ranked 22nd in rushing attempts, 24.6 per game. Ravens were number 1 with 36.8, and Miami was last with 21.8. Atlanta did have 22.6.
Okay.
So that's
I think they'll probably be right around where they were. I don't see it kind of fluctuating or dropping significantly. Because, like, even if Chubb gets hurt, they have another guy who can be a workhorse.
I know, dude. It's a mess. It's like they have two of these running backs that are arguably like can both be RB1s, and they have two receivers that can literally both be wide receiver ones.
Mm-hmm.
What other team has that in the NFL?
Not many
Any of them?
Not many.
I just don't get how this team doesn't work. And then you have a number one tight end, and then you have David Njoku.
Sometimes having all that talent's a bad thing, you know. We saw
Well, I'm saying
other
Baker
teams.
needs to get it done because they got the pieces.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Anything else we should discuss before we wrap this up?
I don't believe so. I think we kind of covered everything we wanted to.
All right, predictions. Who will have more touchdowns, Odell or Jarvis?
Jarvis.
Damn. Odell or Hooper?
It's really, I guess, difficult to say because it could end up just being somebody pisses somebody off, and then we see another giant situation for Odell.
I'll give it to Odell.
Yeah, I'll just give it to Odell too. You know what? Whatever. I think
Hunt
Jarvis
over or under 5 touchdowns, rushing and receiving combined. If you say over,
I think that's
you're going to scare a lot of people. You're going to scare a lot of people. You're just going to say 5.
Yeah, I think 5's pretty.
That'd be pretty good though for Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for today.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to talk about the fantastic Browns and their great offense that they got on paper. It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace.
Peace.